Well, we did it! We hit our goal of 300,000 subscribers. Thanks to so many of you. As a way to celebrate with all of you, we have a special episode. Over the past 60 episodes, you have asked lots of questions. And today I have got answers. And yes, by the end of the video, I will answer the most frequently asked question. How do I found this lifestyle? So I guess it's time for a special edition of Alexander the Guest, the Q&A edition. And now, let's get to your questions. My name is Sándor and the English version is Alexander, and I was born in a small village in Hungary. Back then, communism was still in place and many families were poor, including ours. I was the first in my family to ever go to university, where I became Alexander the recent graduate in programming mathematics. Long story short, after university I started my own business. Now I own a few more. What motivated you to start this channel? Before this I had a channel in Hungarian, focused on business and life. I felt I had some ideas worth sharing. My mentor suggested I should do something in fine dining. He said, "You're traveling, tasting, why don't you make videos about it?" When I heard it, it just clicked. What inspired you to become a restaurateur? Before I opened my first restaurant, I asked 10 people who I admire what they thought about it. One of them said, "I'm not gonna give you advice on this." And the other 9 said, "Don't do it." But I wanted it so badly, I went ahead and did it anyway. It turned out that the 9 people were right because my first restaurant failed. And then I started the next one and it failed. When I started 42, it was different. I really felt like I could see the future of it. 10 years before, I drove by the location and I remember thinking, that would be a great spot for a restaurant. 4 years ago, I saw the opportunity and I just opened 42. Do you collect wine? Not really. I don't collect anything, I just collect memories. But I have a few hundred bottles at home. I have some really special bottles. But I didn't buy them as an investment. I'm gonna drink them someday. What was your best service experience in a restaurant? If I listen to my gut, I would have to give it to Buri. They are such pros. But it's really difficult. If I gave 100 points to Buri, there are 20 other restaurants I would give 99.5. You clearly have great knowledge of food and wines. But can you also cook? I mean, really cook? Of course it's not a Michelin level, but I think what I cook is nice and enjoyable. Unfortunately, I don't cook as much as I used to. But I think if you have the right passion, anyone can cook. It's something we carry in our DNA. How do you choose the restaurants for your videos? Mostly I choose them because I'm curious about them. I just go to places I find interesting. What's so special about Krug? I think everybody's palate is different. Everyone has their own sense of taste and what feels good to them. When you start getting into champagne, you try different ones and then it just happens. You are hit by lightning. I feel a big difference between Krug and the rest of the premium champagnes. It's difficult to find logical reason for that. It's the same thing when you meet someone. It's hard to describe exactly what makes them so special. You just have that feeling, that moment. And for me, Krug was that moment. Is Krug truly better than Dom? For me, they are not even on the same planet. Dom Perignon is a luxury brand, and they produce like 9 million bottles a year. It's probably the best marketed project in the world. Of course, P2 and P3 is a different universe. What was your first experience in fine dining and how did it impact you? It was the Belgian restaurant that opened in my little town. I got to know the chef, his name was Philip, and he introduced me to this world with the white tablecloth. I remember I was so surprised they had different glasses for red wine and white wine. I had so much to learn. I have never seen plates that big before. My first Michelin experience was a 2-star in Amsterdam. I remember they were running to open the door for me. It was crazy. I was just shocked how they prepared everything. And they served pigeon. It was my first Michelin experience and it just blew me away. What was the first experience you had that introduced you to the world of wine? This also started at Philippe Laberge. Before that, I was more like a beer person. With Philippe, there was a sommelier who showed me different wines. I started to see it and analyze it, and I discovered so many different layers of it. That was more than 20 years ago. My first big wine experience was the Loliense 2003 by Cognari. What has been your most surprising wine or food experience since starting this channel? Most surprising food experience could be Kapo in Singapore. Soon we will make a video about it. Another one that had a big effect on me was Acid Champenoise. That opening dish, I was crazy about that. On the drink side, I would say the best was a 1996 Cru Clos de Meunier Magnum in my restaurant. What was your favorite childhood meal? One of the things I loved was a Lerben Sült Krumpli. Whenever my mother fried sausages, she always saved the spicy fat. She would bake potatoes with the skin on, in a traditional oven, and we would then heat up the spicy fat and place the baked potatoes directly into it, letting them soak up the rich, spicy goodness. We would have it for breakfast. I just loved it. I have really nice memories of that. Also, my mother had a Christmas dish with mushrooms, meat, and some potatoes. It was her creation, and she gave it a special name: Gombás Vagdalt. I have never had anything like it. That's one dish from my childhood that was really special. Only my sister can make it now that my mother passed away. Is your watch an IWC Portugueser, and are you a watch collector? Yes, it's a perpetual calendar, but no, I'm not a watch collector. I don't collect anything. I enjoy experiences more than material things. What's your favorite cuisine? There are so many cuisines that I really love. If I had to choose a favorite, it would be something with French roots for sure. How do you maintain your health? By eating rich food. I often do 2 or 3 days water fast, and I try to do some exercise. Water fasting is a miracle weapon. I recommend it to everyone. Favorite food to cook for yourself at home? I'm quite good at traditional Hungarian dishes and at beef stroganoff. Are you trying to get all 3 stars for your restaurant? Yes, of course, but we will see. We still have a very long way to go. Since you have started reviewing, what was the most valuable lesson you have taken back to your restaurant? So many times we learn things and we don't even realize. I'm just open and curious about everything. One lesson I try to remember is you need to know that you don't know. It keeps me open to learn more. What countries do you prefer for restaurants in general? Countries? It's hard to answer. But cities? It's easy. Dubai, London, Singapore, Paris, Tokyo. They have everything there. I love big cities. Do you usually get invited by restaurants for videos? Yes, and I never accept it. It's coming from my side. I decide where I want to go and then make the arrangements. Where I go is totally up to me. Have you considered doing reviews of 1 and 2 star restaurants? Yes, and I already did some reviews like that. Alchemist is 2 stars, Trezi Studio is 2 stars, and Iris had no stars when we went there. So yes, if I find something that is interesting to me, I will go. Do you like Guinness? Yes, for me it's a big memory. When I went to England as an au pair and I drank beer in a pub, I would always go for Guinness. I think they were the sponsor of the national rugby team, and I just felt so fancy to sit there drinking Guinness with a smile on my face. Right now, I am not a big beer drinker, but yeah, it's a nice memory. Could you share how you managed to get reservations at those restaurants? A lot of people think they roll out the red carpet everywhere I go, but I make a booking like everybody else. And I wait. At Plenitude, I had to book 8 months before. When it's really difficult and I really want to go somewhere, I know someone who knows someone. Do you like to open champagne with a saber, or is it too much? I like to open the ordinary way. I don't want to waste any drop of the drink. Favorite champagne under 150 euros. Under 150 euros retail price, probably I would go for Bollinger La Grande Annie or Scharheizig Blanc de Blanc. How do restaurant staff feel when you're filming the dining experience? I think most of the restaurants love it because it has marketing value. Because I have the camera, sometimes the staff are shaking a bit, because they want to perform at their best. When I was at Bury without camera for the 3rd time, that was the best service I have ever had. Even though they don't love the camera, I think the staff appreciate my videos because I highlight how important they are. They are the heroes. Is there anything specific you do not eat or would rather not eat in a restaurant? I am curious, so I try everything. Do you think you get different service because of the following? I think yes, I definitely get different service, and it's worse, because of the camera. For sure. Sometimes it stops the staff from making a connection, especially with the chefs. When there is no camera, they usually come over for a chat and they are relaxed and joking around. How did you get to be in the position you are now? I did it the boring way. I've never been afraid of failure and I worked hard. How big is the ATG team and is it full-time? How long does it take to edit a video? We're a small team of 6 people, mostly full-time, but they help me with my other companies as well. If you add up everyone's hours, it's probably more than 200 hours of work to make one video. What is something that still amazes you after so many stellar restaurants? That's a difficult question to answer. I would say everything. It's just something I can get used to and it never gets boring. Visiting a restaurant is always fire up my curiosity. How to learn about wine? Is it overwhelming? There are 3 rules. First, taste. Second, taste. And third, taste some more. And PS, never stop tasting. If you were to open another restaurant, where would it be and why? If I would do another restaurant, it would be a casual one in a big city. If I open another one, it will be for pure business. What is your favorite cocktail? Negroni. What would be your last meal? I never really thought about that. I think it would be a brunch at Tasca in Dubai, with live music, a beautiful view, sitting on a terrace, with great company, and of course, with champagne. Great service, beautiful ingredients, simple cooking, fresh air, kindness. I love it. How tall are you? I'm 187 centimeters. What advice do you have for new restaurant owners? It's an advice for everyone. You need to know that you don't know. No matter how much knowledge you think you have, there is always more to learn. When you think you know everything, is the beginning of the end. In a nutshell, stay curious, keep learning, keep improving. And now let's get to the questions I have been asked the most. What is your job besides these videos? I am an entrepreneur. I built up an HR company and several other companies. And as an extra, I'm also a husband and a happy father of 3. How do you finance these videos? I am a businessman and I wouldn't say finance. It's more like an investment. Who sponsors all the trips? Great question. We have a really great sponsor on this channel. The sponsor is me, by myself. Are you a billionaire with a passion for food? Passion for food part? Yes, for sure. But a billionaire, it depends on the currency you are talking about. That does it for this episode. I want to give a huge thank you to everybody for your questions. Without you, this episode would not be possible. If you still have questions, please keep asking in the comments. I will do my best to answer your questions in the future. In the near future, we will be making more Q&A videos like this one on my Instagram. So follow me on Instagram as well. Coming soon, we have more unique episodes. Hit subscribe and you won't miss a thing. Thank you for your support and see you next time.
You can call me stupid. Yes, you can call me sheep.